Now, there's been plenty of nonsense still unfolding across in Glasgow, even after most of the world's leaders have left Scotland. For instance, have a look at this. Here's Prince Charles checking out some eco-fashion, would you believe, with Stella McCartney. Yep, it's about princes, millionaires, wealthy, woke activism as far as the eye can see. Aren't they having a lovely time? But Glasgow, of course, achieved little when it came to climate policy. In fact, it might have actually helped to expose the hypocrisy and futility of the whole United Nations climate action process. Let me bring in a strong sceptical voice now, geologist, author and commentator Ian Plimer. Thanks for joining us, Ian, joining us live from Adelaide. You must have been looking on at the events in Glasgow with, you wouldn't have been surprised, but you would have been rightly amused, surely.
Well, for any of those climate skeptics out there who are atheists, this proves that there is a God. The weather was foul. They had to call on coal-fired power stations to keep the lights on and keep the trains running. They had to bring in diesel generators to pump power into the 100 Teslas that they bought so they could stride along, sit in their Teslas, drive into the conference and think how wonderful they were. It is not only a hypocritical joke, it really exposes them for what they are, because the only great recommendation that came out of Glasgow was to reduce methane emissions by 30%. Now, methane leaks out of pipelines in wealthy countries in Europe. That's easy to fix because methane's worth a lot. But most of the world's methanes come from rice paddies. And these are in the Indian subcontinent, Asia and Brazil. The top 10 rice producers are in those countries. Now, if they want to cut back 30% of methane emissions, basically the consequences of that is that COP26 recommendations are going to starve people. They're going to starve people in the third world, but who cares? These are only third world countries. So this is why my latest book I've called Green Murder. Greenmurder.com is where you can find it, because the consequences of green activities, of people pontificating, of people staggering around telling us how wonderful they are and then hopping into their private jet, they actually kill people. They kill poor people. They're making people in this country, especially our farmers, they're really putting them under threat. So I think the hypocrisy was laughable. I think the whole display was a joke.